I visited the northwest shores of the Sea of Galilee, where they've erected the Church of the Primacy of St. Peter, dedicated to Peter and his entrance into ministry. Jesus nicknamed this fisherman named Simon Peter, from the Greek word Petra, or rock, just like the rock in the center of the church. So why did Jesus come here to call these men to follow him? And what did Jesus' recruiting style reveal about himself?
Once Jesus had gone through all the necessary steps to begin his ministry, he needed to assemble a ministry team. This began the process of calling men to be his apostles. The traditional site of that calling of some of the disciples is Tabgha, a fishing region off the Sea of Galilee.
Name Tabgha in Arabic is a corruption of a Greek name meaning the seven spring. It is because there are seven springs of good living water here. Those springs reach the water of the lake here, and therefore you might have many more fish here than in any other point of the lake, and therefore fishermen would come here and try to catch the fish.
To assemble his ministry, Jesus had to invite people to join him. Those men were called apostles. An apostle means one called into ministry, and the lives of those he called would never be the same.
What an interesting group. One of them was a Jewish tax collector, hated by his fellow Jews. The other betrayed Christ for cash.
As the story goes, Jesus wandered along the shoreline, and he came up to some fishermen, and he said, "Follow me." And they immediately dropped everything to go.
Isn't that a bit hard to believe? Can you imagine someone coming up to you and say, "Follow me," and you dropping all of your plans and dreams to pursue their plans and dreams?
It looks quick, but it wasn't. There's indication that he had contact with them previously, and that he was just saying, okay, now the moment has come. And it wasn't just a spur of the moment thing, though I have no doubt in my mind that the power of Jesus' personality and his divinity, which showed through, could easily convince somebody on the spot.
Just like in cosmology, the denser the substance, the greater the attraction, the greater the gravitational field. And so, almost in a human sense, you're dealing with somebody who you can't see through. This person is a real person. This person loves life. This person, there's something about the way they love children, the way they love people, the way they're open.
There was a sense of authority and confidence, I believe, that just came through Jesus.
He was a perfect man. He was the Son of God. He was somebody who was totally innocent.
Well, one, he's asking people, they would never be asked to follow a rabbi. I mean, there's something about that, you know? If you're asking me, you know, me, I'm a fisherman. What do I, you know, I'm past the age of following a rabbi. You know, all of those things are part of this. But there is something about Jesus that is just absolutely unusual, absolutely spectacular and attractive. And I think they're just drawn to that.
Jesus seemed to see things in people that I would miss. Let's take fishermen. When I see fishermen, I think of a rough, tough, blue-collar worker that works real hard and maybe smells like fish. And I don't see them as effective evangelists on a worldwide mission. Maybe I'm missing something.
To understand fishermen, I spoke with Menachem Lev, a manager who owns his own fishing business today on the Sea of Galilee, just like Peter and Andrew 2,000 years ago.
Not everybody can be a fisherman. You have to be patient, and you work as a team. Somebody have to say what to do. Somebody have to be the captain, even in this time. So I think that few things come together that he decide I want these people to be with me on the boat.
So if someone came up to you and said, "You can't fish anymore," how would you feel?
I feel that somebody ripped my head off. I tell you the truth, it's part of me. It's not only me, it's all my family inside getting involved with this fishing.
These men that Jesus called were just ordinary folks that you would find around here. But Jesus wanted the common, the untrained, the uneducated, and disliked, so he could demonstrate his power in making them uncommon and skilled and wise and loved. It's a tall order to ask.
Would they seem like the kind of people that Jesus would call to be part of a ministry team?
There are a few things. They are being exposed to the nature around, is being exposed to who created it. They were probably strong, well-built people. There is something very symbolic by taking out of the water. For us human beings, getting into the water is to die. And fishing out people, it's like bringing people to life, bringing people to the air, to be exposed to heaven.
Many of the people Jesus called came from Capernaum, a large fishing village off the north shore of the Sea of Galilee. Capernaum was a key ministry area for Jesus and was the hometown for many of his followers. Capernaum today displays the remains of a great city, extensive homes, city streets, and a prominent synagogue built in the 4th century on the foundation of a 1st century synagogue believed to have been visited by Jesus himself.
In the 1st century, Capernaum was an important area. The main road of the ancient world passed by here, very close to Capernaum. So Capernaum was enjoying the proximity of such an important route that all the trade went through, but not only trade, because also ideas were exchanged among people. And being next to the road is like being exposed to our main radio station today, to the media today. People who lived here made the living from fishing, from cultivating the area around. They were not urban people, but they did share the idea that the Messiah is about to come. The very big thing is about to start. And therefore they were, like everybody else, preparing themselves to the coming future. In their way, they needed some guidelines. And when somebody came and was convincing them, here I have the true way, they would be more than happy to leave everything and follow him.
When he called the apostles, he only asked from them only as much as he was willing to give. But this call was not an easy one. It says in the Bible, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily to follow me.
Jesus was a gutsy recruiter. He offered these men the opportunity of a lifetime, but made it very clear up front that they would be giving up everything in this calling. In the site of Capernaum, a church has been built over the ruins of what some believe is the house of Peter. Inside the church, I met Sister Rebecca Dangren, a nun who has felt the calling.
I feel this calling of Jesus since I was a child, 6 years old.
You've left everything, haven't you?
Yes, of course.
I mean, you've left your hometown?
Yes, my mother, my brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews.
And do you have any hesitation or regrets?
As of now, no.
No?
No.
Well, why did he call you here?
Just for a mission, to serve. We are not married. And wherever our Mother General tell, you go to America, I will go to America. If I will go to Italy, I will go to Italy. I will sacrifice because not my own will. That's it.
So you're very much like the apostles and the disciples that were called from this area.
Yes.
You're today's living example of that.
Yes.
Well, I admire that very much.
As I think about Sister Dangren, I wonder if I'm living up to the calling of Christ. Jesus himself walked away from everything, sacrificing his whole life. But am I really sacrificing something, or is it business as usual? Am I still holding on to my net, or have I dropped it completely to follow him, like Peter, James, John, and Sister Rebecca Dangren?